I'm at the school beauty's house, helping her fix her virus-infected laptop. My EGF just messaged me. Babe, my computer is broken. My dad actually called that most annoying guy in our class to fix it. It's so annoying. Could it really be this much of a coincidence? I look at Liu Rian, who's messing with her phone right in front of me, feeling a bit confused. That guy isn't just boring, he's a total nerd. I don't like him at all. Liu Rian still has her head down, both hands intensely focused on her screen, typing away. I was so spooked I didn't dare text back. There's no way it's this much of a coincidence, right? Even though I added my EGF from a local city group. Shihao, can you focus on the progress bar? Stop playing on your phone. Liu Ruyan noticed me spacing out, clearly annoyed by me, slacking off. All right. I gladly put my phone down. She looked back down to keep texting. Immediately, my phone started buzzing like crazy again. Damn it, you won't let me use my phone. But then you keep blowing up my notifications. I look up and lock eyes with her slightly disgusted glare. I quietly switch my phone to silent. Thank God she didn't notice anything suspicious. I still can't believe it. The girl I've been e-dating for so long is the undisputed school beauty, Liu Rian. She's wearing a silky slip dress, looking super impatient. Her whole V looks like she's dying to kick me out. Her figure and looks are totally top tier. Sitting on the couch next to me with her legs crossed, her pale, slender legs keep swinging in my peripheral vision, seriously killing my productivity. The scent of expensive perfume mixed with the cold AC air drifts over, and I almost plug the USB into the wrong port. On the computer screen, the antivirus progress bar is crawling forward one tick at a time. Honestly, this virus isn't that hard to deal with it, but Liu Rian's laptop is packed with a bunch of random junk software. Just clearing the cache took me half an hour. How did I end up at the school beauty's house? It all started this afternoon. Chen sent a message in our dorm group chat. Got a gig to fix a PC on site. Downtown Villa District. Pays super well. Anyone want to go? I was strapped for cash. Actually, no, I wasn't broke, just bored. Anyway, I took the job and took a cab downtown to the most expensive villa neighborhood. A middle-aged guy in his 40s opened the door. Wearing a casual polo shirt, he gave off a gentle, classy vibe, clearly looking like the type with old money, but keeping it low-key. Hello, you must be Shihao, right? Come in. He was so enthusiastic I was honestly a little flattered. Only after going inside did I realize this was Liu Ruyan's house, and this middle-aged man was her dad. At that moment, I was internally screaming. Everyone at school knows Liu Ruyan. School beauty, Ferrari, downtown villa. Put those three tags together, and it basically keeps 99% of the guys in school stuck at a very safe distance. What's worse, Liu Ruyan and I have beef. At least, she thinks we do. Is the progress bar done yet? Liu Ruyan's voice pulled me back to reality. Almost 87. She looked back down at her phone. While she wasn't paying attention, I peeked at my own notification list. My EGF had sent a few more messages. Bab, why are you ignoring me? That nerd is right next to me fixing my PC, looking like a total dork. It's so annoying just looking at him, looking like a total dork. I subconsciously touched my face. Do I really look like a dork? Chen said, see, I look pretty good. Though his taste has always been questionable. The progress bar finally hit 101. I quickly cleared out the leftover virus files and casually checked for system vulnerabilities. Turns out her laptop got infected because Liu Ruyan downloaded a drama streaming app from some sketchy website. The app itself was a Trojan horse. Stop downloading things from random websites. This app itself has a virus. Liu Ruyan glanced at me, looking at me like I was a nosy bystander. Got it, just those two words. So cold it made me shiver. After fixing the laptop, I was ready to take the cash and bounce. But my occupational hazard kicked in, and I randomly checked their home network setup. I realized the Liu family's smart home system had quite a few security flaws. The door access, security cameras, and AC controls were all connected to the same router, and the password was still the default admin. If a hacker targeted this, They could remotely unlock her front door in minutes. I hesitated for a second, but still mentioned it to Liu Ruyan. Your smart home system has a lot of vulnerabilities. Want me to patch it up while I'm at it? The look Liu Ruyan gave me seemed to say, are you just trying to milk more money out of me? Whatever. I spent about 40 minutes reconfiguring the whole system, changed it to a high-strength password, set up device isolation, and patched the security cameras. Right as I finished, Liu Ruyan's dad came back. All done. Thanks for the hard work. Mr. Liu took a look at my work log, and his eyes lit up. You know cybersecurity too. It's related to my major, I guess. I'm a computer science major. Mr. Liu slapped his thigh. That's perfect. Let me discuss something with you. Our smart home system breaks down every other day, and Neonion's laptop and phone crash all the time too. I've hired a few people for maintenance before, but they either complained it was too far or too much hassle. It always ended up falling through. How about this? Come over 3 times a week and be our long-term support. I'll pay you a premium rate. He quoted a number, and my eyes almost popped out of my head. The price was 3 times what I expected. Uncle Liu, this is way too much. Not at all. Not at all. Leave professional work to the professionals. I was just about to nod when Liu Ruyan suddenly spoke up. Dad, when has our family ever been short on staff? Can't you just find a random repair company? Translation. She didn't want me here. Mr. Liu gave her a look. The look was very calm, but Liu Ruyan instantly shut up. Looks like in the Liu family, Mr. Liu is the final boss. All right, it's a deal then. Shi Hao, leave your contact info. Just like that, I inexplicably became the Liu family's long-term part-time. It's support, earning a ridiculous salary. The cost, 3 times a week, facing a school beauty who looked like she wanted to skin me alive. The moment I walked out of the Liu family's gates, I glanced at the message from my EGF. Babe, that annoying guy finally left. But my dad seems to really like him. Oh crap, I was practically 100% certain now. My online girlfriend is Liu Ruyan. Speaking of which, my beef with Liu Ruyan dates back to the 2nd semester of freshman year. The school hosted a coding competition with cross-major teams. I was assigned to Liu Ruyan's group. She's a design major, in charge of the UE and pitch presentation. I was the main tech guy, handling the back-end and core algorithms. Everything was pretty normal at first, until we started discussing the interface design. Liu Ruyan's design drafts were definitely gorgeous. Premium, color, palettes, agis, outs. But the problem was, a lot of the interaction logic she designed was completely impossible to implement, at least not within the competition's time frame. I told her, but she didn't listen, so I told her again. She still didn't listen. When I brought it up for the 3rd time, she finally snapped back. Just because you can't build it doesn't mean others can't. All right then, I'll do it. I pulled 3 all-nighters and brute-forced every single effect she asked for. The pitch presentation went super smooth at first, until a judge asked a technical question about our project's data catching mechanism. Liu Ruyan stood on stage and answered with total confidence, but she was wrong. She mixed up the concepts of client-side catching and server-side catching. I was sitting in the audience, originally planning to whisper a correction to her, but I don't know if I was nervous or what. My voice came out twice as loud as I intended. What she said is wrong. That's not how this feature is implemented. The entire room heard it. Liu Ruyan froze on stage, her face visibly changing color. The judges smiled and asked me to come up and elaborate it. After I explained it, we took home first prize. But Liu Ruyan never gave me the time of day again. What's even worse is that later on, Chen Si was complaining about this to me in the cafeteria. The look on your face back then seriously looked like you were mocking her. Someone overheard this sentence, added some extra drama, and spread the rumor. It turned into, Shi Hao thinks Liu Ruyan is just a pretty face. She's nothing but good looks. I literally never said that. But Liu Ruyan believed it. Or rather, in her world, I'm the jerk who embarrassed her in public. From then on, we never had another direct conversation. Until today, sitting at her computer, smelling her perfume, and watching her text her hubby on her phone to talk trash about me. Life really is full of dark comedy. On my first official day on the job, I met Liu Ruian's little sister, Liu Nianian, 15 years old, a high school freshman, and talks faster than a machine gun. As soon as I stepped through the Liu family's door, she ran down from upstairs. Are you She Hao? My dad said you're super amazing. Do you know how to hack? Can you teach me? I want to learn. The rapid-fire questions made my head spin. I'm not a hacker. Then can you make games? I want to make my own minigame. That I can teach you. Yay, She Hao, you're the best. Nianian's enthusiasm was a stark contrast to her sister. Liu Ruian was sitting on the living room couch, gave me a cold glare, and went upstairs. Zero communication the whole time. Fine. If you ignore me, it actually saves me the stress. First, I checked all of the Liu family's network equipment. Then, I ran a full diagnostic on Nianian's laptop. This kid had like a dozen pop-up ad programs installed. Her desktop was covered in shady one-click speedup and free PC cleaner bloatware. Nianian, these are all viruses, you know that. But it said it would make my computer faster. I spent an hour cleaning them all out and installed a legit antivirus. Don't click on random pop-ups anymore. Got it. She Hao, you're so patient. The last repair guy who came left after 10 minutes and even rolled his eyes at me. Plus, you're way better looking. Being called handsome by a 15-year-old girl. I actually felt a little embarrassed. Just then my phone buzzed. A message from my EGF, babe. That nerd came over again today. I seriously don't get my dad. Why does he like that guy so much? Another message followed immediately, and my little sister is acting possessed, hovering around him, bringing him water and fruit. Like, really? I looked up at Nianian, who was currently pouring me some juice. Then I glanced up towards Liu Ruian's room on the second floor. I couldn't help but sigh internally. Sis, the guy you're trash talking to online is sitting right in your living room, okay? Life went on like this. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after school, I'd check the Liu family's tech, teach Nianian how to code, and endure Liu Ruian's icy glares. In real life, her stare was colder than Antarctic glaciers, but online, she called me babe and hubby every day, sharing all her highs and lows with me. When she acted sweet, it could melt your heart. This totally schizophrenic experience was, honestly, kind of thrilling. Like one time, when I was fixing the router at their house, I accidentally bumped Liu Ruian's cup on the table. Water spilled all over her dress. Her face went completely dark. She didn't say a word, radiating absolute freezing energy. She just got up and went straight upstairs to change. 10 minutes later, my EGF messaged, babe, I'm so pissed. That clumsy idiot spilled water all over me. It was my favorite dress. Did he do it on purpose? He totally did it on purpose. What a creep. Reading the message, I almost burst out laughing on the spot. On purpose. If I splashed water on you on purpose, what good would that do me? But I couldn't laugh, because Liu Ruian came downstairs after changing, staring at me like I was a criminal being interrogated. I could only keep a straight face and reply, babe, calm down. I'm sure the guy didn't do it on purpose. Right after sending that message, I heard Liu Ruian's phone ding. She glanced down at the screen, and her expression softened just a tiny bit. Then, she started typing. My phone buzzed again. Yeah, maybe. Whatever. I don't want to think about it. Babe, how was your day? I was sitting right across from her, less than 3 meters away. She could see me the second she looked up. This feeling of, I know who you are, but you don't know I know, was both exhilarating and nerve-wracking. What stressed me out even more was that Liu Ruian recently started asking to meet up more often. Babe, when can we finally meet? I really miss you. If I looked exactly like that classmate of yours, would you still like me? When I asked her that question, I was honestly a bit anxious. It took her over 10 minutes to reply, no way. Anyway, you can't look like that nerd. Otherwise, I'd have nightmares. Looking at that message, I was so speechless, I wanted to smash my phone. Babe, you finally replied. What were you doing just now? At that very moment, I was sitting in her living room, helping Nianian debug her code. Got lectured by some idiot, kinda annoyed. What idiot dares to talk to my babe like that? Insulting yourself, that's a first. In the blink of an eye, It was Liu Ruyan's birthday. That morning, as soon as I arrived at the school gates, I saw a massive crowd of people. Chen Si popped out from the crowd, looking thrilled as he grabbed me. Quick, quick, quick! Wang Tang is about to confess to Liu Ruyan. Wang Tang? Who's that? Chen Si looked at me like I was a caveman. The guy who wears designer brands every day, always bragging about his family's business. You don't know him. I honestly didn't pay attention to that stuff. There was a giant heart-shaped floral arrangement at the school gate. Red roses covering the ground. In the center stood a tall guy with sharp features. He was holding a cake box that looked crazy expensive. He's pretty handsome, I evaluated objectively. Chen Si patted my shoulder. What's the use of being handsome? There's tons of good-looking guys confessing to Liu Ruyan. Have you ever seen her say yes to one? Plus, this Wang Tang guy is notorious for having trash character. He specifically picks on students from poor families. Last semester, he cornered a guy in the bathroom and beat him up. My impression of Wang Tang instantly went from pretty handsome to absolute scumbag. Liu Ruyan's Ferrari roared as it pulled up to the gate. The butterfly doors swung open, looking like someone who just walked out of a painting. Wang Tang confidently approached her. Happy birthday. I've been meaning to tell you lately. Liu Ruyan glanced at the cake in his hands, and without even breaking her stride, thanks. You don't need to say anything. Clean and decisive, leaving no room for fantasy. Wang Tang froze in place. The roses scattered at his feet suddenly looked incredibly ironic. The crowd started whispering. Some were laughing, some were pitying him. Chen Si was so happy he almost jumped for joy. I knew there was no way he'd succeed. Just as I thought this farce was over, my phone rang. Caller ID, Uncle Lai. Shihao, Nianian's tablet crashed again today. It's just a white screen. Can you come over during lunch? Ruyan happens to be at school. I'll have her bring you back. Before I even had time to decline, Uncle Liu already hung up. About a minute later, Liu Ruyan's Ferrari suddenly stopped again. She stepped out of the car, her ears completely red. I wasn't sure if it was because she was angry, or because her dad practically ordered her remotely. She walked straight towards me, passing by Wang Tang, who was still standing there, without even a glance. The entire crowd held their breath. Liu Ruyan stood in front of me, looking like she was ready to commit murder. Come home with me at lunch. Nianian's tablet broke. Every single word felt like there was a wall of ice between them. But, to everyone else, the scene looked like this. The school beauty just rejected a guy's massive public confession, only to turn around and seek out another guy, inviting him home. The crowd went absolutely wild. The way Wang Tang was glaring at me, I will never forget it for the rest of my life. Chen Si was grabbing my arm, his nails digging into my flesh. You're going home with her. You scored the school beauty. Scored what? I do it maintenance for her house. You lucky bastard. I treat you like a brother, and you steal my goddess. Can you wake up for a second? I dragged Chen Si and bolted for the classroom, trying to escape the scorching stares of everyone around, especially Wang Tang's glare, looking at me like I stole millions from him, only after escaping into the classroom. Did I have time to check my EGF's messages? Babe, it's my birthday today. Do you have a gift for me? Oh right, today is her birthday, which means it's Liu Ruyan's birthday. I thought about it, and sent her a 200 RMB red envelope. Happy now. Give me a smile. To my surprise, Liu Ruyan didn't accept the red envelope. Instead, she sent one to me. Take this money and buy me a cake, and deliver it to a university. Okay. A smirk crept onto my face. With lightning speed, I accepted the red envelope, closed the chat window, and pretended I never saw the message. Haha, let's see how you like losing your money and your guy. During class, I felt a resentful gaze shooting at me from the front row. It was Wang Tang. This guy was sitting up front, turning around to glare at me every few minutes, looking at me like I murdered his whole family in a past life. Hey, what are you looking at? Looking like a bitter ex. I forced myself to ignore him and focus on the lecture. But after he stared at me like that for 2 full periods, I was on the verge of breaking. I finally survived until the break. The second Liu Ruyan walked out of the classroom, Wang Tang stood right in front of me. Shihao, I suggest you accept reality. What reality? Look at your background. Look at Liu Ruyan's background. Do you think you're worthy? I looked at him, smiled, and said nothing. A guy who buys fake dire jackets is lecturing me about accepting reality, but I was too lazy to argue with him in the classroom. Too embarrassing. My silence seemed to give him confidence. He spoke up again. This one sentence instantly shattered every ounce of my self-control. Speaking of which, your mom picks you up every day, right? Where's your dad? Oh wait, you don't have one. When he said those words, there was even a faint smirk on his lips. In that instant, my blood ran cold, and then started boiling. I stood up and slapped him hard across the face. The sound was so loud. The entire classroom fell dead silent. My dad was a fire department commander, and my mom, a wealthy heiress, who loved beauty to her core. These two people who had absolutely nothing in common. How did they get together? It's quite a legendary story. My mom's rebellious phase came late. When she was 25, she suddenly became obsessed with keeping weird and bizarre pets. Lizards, centipedes. She even kept a snake. My grandparents never dared to set foot in her house again after that, until one day, a small snake she was keeping escaped through a crack in its glass tank. She couldn't find it, so she called 119, emergency. The fire squad captain who responded was my dad. He spent over an hour tearing the place apart searching, and finally pulled the snake out from a gap under the bed. Afterwards, my dad taped up the hole in the glass tank. Before leaving, he said, "If you're scared of it, why are you keeping it?" My mom was furious and pushed him out the door. But the next day, another snake went missing. She called 119 again. One thing led to another, and my dad visited her place over 10 times. One time, my mom got into a car accident, and it was my dad who rescued her from the wreckage again. While she was recovering, my dad visited her every day. 2 weeks later, they were together. Sadly, the good times didn't last. The year I turned 10, there was a massive leak at a chemical plant. The owner lied about the amount of hazardous chemicals stored in the factory. After the fire squad went in, a secondary explosion occurred. That day, my mom locked all her luxury goods in a cabinet. She cried for an entire night. It was the first time I ever saw her cry so ugly. Since then, she has always been smiling and cheerful in front of outsiders. Only on the anniversary of my dad's death does she hide away by herself. So when Wang Teng used that contemptuous tone to say those words, "You don't have a dad," that wasn't just an insult. It was a knife, stabbing directly into my deepest scar. "You actually hit me." Wang Teng held his face, looking completely in disbelief. His cronies immediately surrounded me. The tension was instantly explosive. I didn't back down. My fists clenched tight. Anyone who disrespects my dad, I have zero regrets beating up. Suddenly, a hand grabbed my wrist. Not forcefully, but very firmly. I turned my head. It was Liu Ruyan. She was frowning at me, her expression complicated. There seemed to be anger, but also something else. Fighting. "How are you going to work if you're injured?" "My sister's coding assignment is due next week." I shook off her hand. "What does this have to do with your sister's coding assignment?" She glared at me, giving me a "say another word and I'll hit you" look. But, seeing Liu Ruyan appear, Wang Teng's arrogance instantly vanished. What this guy was best at was acting innocent in front of Liu Ruyan. Like a street rat, he slipped back to his seat. Liu Ruyan looked at me, then looked towards Wang Teng, let out a cold scoff, and turned to leave. She didn't say another word the whole time, but she showed up, and she stopped me. That night, my EGF's message came very late. "Hubby, what's wrong? Did someone pick on you? You seem to be in a really bad mood today." I stared at the screen in silence for a long time. How did she know? I hadn't even sent any messages today. "It's nothing, just tired. Get some sleep early." "Okay, you sleep first." "Good night, hubby." "Good night." I turned off my phone, staring at the ceiling in the darkness. I just couldn't find the courage to type out those words. If she knew who I was, would she still call me hubby? At noon, I followed Liu Ruyan home. Nianyan's tablet indeed had a white screen. The system crashed. It needed to be flashed and reinstalled. I sat in Nianyan's room, waiting for the progress bar. While listening to Nianyan chatter away, "Shihao, Why did you come so late for lunch? I waited for you for ages. Got held up by something. What happened? My sister said you got into a fight at school. I paused. Liu Ruyan told Nianian. It wasn't really a fight, just a little conflict. Nianian tilted her head, looking totally heartbroken. Shi Hao, are you okay? Did you get hurt? No, just slapped someone across the face. Wow. Shi Hao, you're so cool. What is there to idolize about that? After the system reinstallation was done, Uncle Liu came back. At the dinner table, Uncle Liu suddenly said something completely unexpected. Shi Hao, I'm planning to give you a raise. Come over during lunch, from now on too. Anyway, when Nianian doesn't have classes in the afternoon, she can learn programming. There's no need. Uncle Liu, the pay is already really high. Don't feel bad about it. Nianian is a very picky kid. We've hired quite a few people before, and she hasn't been satisfied with any of them. Uncle Liu paused, then added, plus, isn't your mom's health not doing so great? You probably need the money. I almost choked on my food. Uncle Liu misunderstood. My mom was indeed in the hospital, but not because she was sick. It was because she took a liking to a doctor, and was faking an illness to get closer to him. But how was I supposed to explain that? Shi Hao's mom is sick. That must be so hard on you. Nianian looked incredibly sympathetic. Thank God Liu Ruyan was sitting across the table, just eating with her head down, not saying a single word. But I swear her chopsticks paused for a second. A raise is a raise, I guess. No one argues with money. I didn't have class in the afternoon, so I taught Nianian how to write a simple minigame. Snake. This kid is genuinely smart. Her logical thinking is incredibly strong. I only had to explain the principles once, and she could immediately apply them. Wow, it's moving. It's moving. Shi Hao, look, my snake is moving. Don't get too excited. You haven't written the collision detection yet. Your snake can literally phase through walls right now. A ghost snake is cute too. After the coding lesson, Nianian suddenly pulled out her phone. Shi Hao, do you play Honor of Kings? Yeah, why? Carry me. I'm stuck in Diamond Tier. Well, I was just killing time anyway. Let's go log in. After one match, I was 13-0, an easy sweep. Nianian was so hyped, she almost jumped out of her chair. Shi Hao, you're so good. You can write code, you're a gamer, and you're handsome. She suddenly lowered her voice. You should just be my brother-in-law. Stop talking nonsense. Just then, Nianian ran out of the room holding her phone. Sis, look at Shi Hao's KDA. I didn't really care, and just kept packing up my things. 2 minutes later, Nianian came back. Her expression was a little weird. What's wrong? Nothing. My sister saw your in-game name, and her face looked so weird. My heart dropped. My in-game name is a university's hash, one handsomeman, and I suddenly remembered. Liu Ruyan's in-game name is a university's hash, one beauty. It's a matching couple ID. I came up with it together with my EGFF. I'm dead. Over the next few days, Liu Ruyan's attitude went through a subtle shift. I couldn't really pinpoint what changed. She was still freezing cold towards me, but there seemed to be something else mixed in with that coldness. For example, when I was teaching Nianian programming, she started coming out of her room to pour water. Once or twice you could call it a coincidence, but 5 days in a row, and she always happened to come out for water right when I was teaching. That's no longer a coincidence. For instance, she started complaining about me way less online. Before, she basically had to insult me every day, calling me a nerd, a blockhead, a creep. Now it was down to once every 2 or 3 days. Progress. And she also sent fewer messages online. Before, she'd practically send me a text every minute. Now it turned into irregular, but high-quality conversations. I thought she was just busy lately and didn't think much of it. Later on, she personally told me. During that time, she was trying to digest a massive reality. The guy she'd been e-dating for so long was the absolute nerd she despised the most. From shock, to denial, to repeatedly double-checking, and finally slowly accepting it, she spent days sorting out her feelings. Until that weekend, I finished teaching Nianian and was getting ready to leave. Nianian pulled on my sleeve. Shi Hao, you promised you'd take me to the amusement park this weekend. I had indeed promised her. Previously, she helped me deliver an important file to Uncle Liu. I only found out later That Uncle Liu intentionally had her find an excuse to call me over. I said I'd treat her to a fun day out, as a thank you. Sure, we'll go tomorrow. Nianian cheered and ran out of the room. 2 minutes later, she came back. The look on her face was a bit odd. What's wrong? Your mom won't let you go. No, my mom said, yes, but, what? My sister wants to go too. What? Liu Ruyan is going to an amusement park. With that iceberg face of hers. Won't she freeze all the rides over? Nianian let out a sigh. It's super weird. My sister has never shown any interest in amusement parks or anything like that before. The next day, I took a cab to Liu Ruyan's place. Nianian was wearing a tracksuit, bouncing with energy. I waited for 5 minutes before Liu Ruyan slowly strolled out. The moment she walked out, my brain short-circuited for about 2 seconds. Liu Ruyan was wearing a long white dress. A backless one. She looked like a crystal, sculpted by the sunlight. So flawless she didn't even look real. The skin on her calves and back was practically glowing. I forced my eyes away. Can't look, if I look too much I'll die. Nianian mercilessly roasted her. Sis, we're going to play. Why are you dressed so formally? If you want to go, then go. If not, go back inside and do your homework. I quickly played peacemaker. Let's go, the car's here. In the taxi. The driver glanced at the rearview mirror and laughed. Are you three going to the same place? 2 of you look like you're going hiking, and 1 looks like she's walking the red carpet. Nianian and I were cracking up. Liu Ruyan shot me an icy glare. Is it funny? Damn it, she's only targeting me again. Nianian, the big mouth, couldn't stop talking once she started. How? Do you know my classmate's older sister? She's even gentler than my sister. And really pretty too. I'll introduce you guys sometime. Before she could even finish her sentence, she caught a slap to the back of the head from Liu Ruyan. Don't you dare. Nianian clutched her head, looking terrified. Sis, you hit too hard. I quickly got between them. Don't hit her. You'll make her stupid. The look Liu Ruyan gave me instantly shifted. You're actually defending her. Do you actually want to get with her classmate's sister? I looked totally lost. What does this have to do with me? Nianian added fuel to the fire from behind me. Hao already agreed. You can't say no. Liu Ruyan's voice suddenly got loud. This was the first time I'd ever heard her speak this loudly. You agreed. What did you agree to? When she said those words, her face carried a very complicated expression. It wasn't just simple anger. It looked more like she was feeling wrong, coupled with the fact that she had 1 hand resting on the back of my seat. Her face was very close to mine. My face involuntarily started burning up. She noticed I was blushing, and her expression grew even more unnatural. Why is her classmate's sister okay, but not? If my temper is bad, I can change it, can't I? Plus, you were the one who provoked me first. Are you still mad about that? My mind was entirely blank. What does this mean? What is she talking about? Liu Ruyan abruptly turned her head to look out the window. Her ears were visibly turning red. Nothing. Shut up. Within 10 minutes, her mood flipped 3 times. Classic Liu Ruyan. The Mixi amusement park was absolutely packed with people. I pulled out a VIP card from my bag. We'll take the VIP line. No need to wait. Nianian's eyes lit up. Hao do you have literally everything? My mom got this card for me. She always complains I'm in the way at home. In reality, it was because she frequently brought that doctor home for dates. So she bought me an annual pass to Mixi AC, to keep me out of the house. Before we went inside, Nianian secretly pulled me aside. How? Let me tell you a secret. What secret? Just now, in the car, a piece of paper fell out of my sister's pocket, and I picked it up. What did it say? Nianian leaned in close to my ear. It said, dating strategy. Buy him milk tea. Hold hands in the haunted house Ferris wheel. I didn't see the rest. Before she snatched it away, I was stunned. Dating strategy. Buy him milk tea. Who is him? Nianian looked at me with a mix of pity and excitement. How? Looks like you really are going to be my brother-in-law. Don't talk nonsense. But my heart rate definitely spiked. Then, Liu Ruyan walked over to me, holding 2 cups of milk tea and an ice cream. Here. I took it, totally bewildered. If I wasn't giving it to you, who else would I give it to? She said that, and walked away. leaving Nianian beside me winking like crazy. I looked down at the milk tea in my hand, then looked up at Liu Rion's back. Is it really because of me? No way. I violently shook my head. Snap out of it. She probably just wanted milk tea herself, and bought you one out of convenience. But what about the note Nianian found? What should we ride first, days? Roller coaster or the drop tower? I asked. Nianian raised her hand. Roller coaster. Liu Ruyan checked her phone. No, wait. She was checking that piece of paper. Haunted house. Nianian and I exchanged a look. Haunted house it is. With the VIP line, there was basically no wait. We walked right in. Right before we entered, for some inexplicable reason, I leaned close to Ryan's ear, and whispered, "If you're scared, just hold my hand." She gave me a side eye. Who's scared? For the first 3 minutes, she was walking faster than me. But then when the first NPC jumped out from the darkness screaming, she practically jumped into the ceiling within 2 seconds. My right hand was clamped in a death grip. She squeezed so hard, my knuckles hurt. I didn't initiate this. You told me to grab it. I held back a laugh and didn't say anything. For the next 15 minutes, every time a ghost popped out, she flinched back. By the time we finally exited, she was practically hanging off my arm, walking out of the haunted house. The sunlight was blinding. Liu Ruyan let go of my hand and smoothed out her dress, which she'd crumpled herself. She didn't look at me. Her ears completely flushed red. I didn't look at her either, my heart racing abnormally fast. After that, we rode the roller coaster and the drop tower. Nianian was screaming in pure thrill. My legs turned to jelly from the scare. But none of that was the main event. The main event was the final ride, the Ferris wheel. When it was our turn, and the cabin in front of us just departed, Liu Ruyan suddenly grabbed my hand and yanked me into the cabin. Then she turned to Nianian. You wait for the next one. Nianian's eyes went wide. Then she quickly flashed and, yo, what's up, look. The doors closed. It was just me and Liu Ruyan, and another couple sitting opposite us, acting completely oblivious to anyone else. The Ferris wheel slowly ascended. The city lights spread out beneath our feet. The couple across from us had already started being grossly affectionate. Bob, I heard that if two people kiss at the very top of a Ferris wheel, they'll stay together forever. The girl blushed and rested her head on the guy's shoulder, nodding. The air suddenly got incredibly awkward. I desperately stared out the window at the view, pretending I didn't hear anything. Suddenly, Liu Ruyan shifted closer to me. She grabbed my hand, her palms, slightly sweaty. We're at the top. Her voice was incredibly soft, sounding like it drifted over from somewhere far away. I turned my head and locked eyes with her. Reflecting the city lights, her eyes were shimmering brightly. Her ears were so red they almost looked like they were bleeding. Her lips trembled slightly. Should we try to be together forever, too? My brain literally went biz-t. Logical thinking, rational analysis. Everything completely crashed. Okay, almost simultaneously. She leaned in. A warm, soft sensation enveloped my lips. I don't know how long we kissed for. I just remember when we got off the Ferris wheel. Nianian stared wide-eyed at Liu Ruyan's face. Sis, why are your lips so red? Are you having an allergic reaction? Shut up. Liu Ruyan's face was completely burning. After that day, I didn't know how to face Liu Ruyan anymore. I mean, Liu Ruyan, in real life, the person who kissed me on the Ferris wheel. Was it because she liked the real life Shi-Hao? Or was it because she already knew I was her e-boyfriend? Or was she just caught up in the atmosphere? I wasn't sure. So, I started avoiding her. At school, I tried my best to avoid running into her. When I went to the Liu family house, I'd leave the moment I finished teaching Nianian, not staying a second longer. Liu Ruyan seemed to sense something was up, but she didn't say anything. During class, I could occasionally feel a gaze landing on my back. I didn't even need to turn around to know who it was. Online, her messages became less frequent. It wasn't like before, where she shared every little detail of her day with me. The occasional message she sent was very mundane. You there? Did you eat? I felt an indescribable sense of loss in my heart. It felt like something was quietly changing, and I couldn't hold on to it. During that time, something else also happened, but I'll get to that later. The injuries they left on me were much more severe than I realized at the time. while playing basketball. The rib injury I sustained from getting kicked by those thugs earlier suddenly flared up again. A wave of dull, agonizing pain hit my ribs. I doubled over, clutching my side, and immediately broke out in a cold sweat. Chenza freaked out and called an ambulance. When I woke up, I was in a hospital bed. The sharp smell of disinfectant, a stark white ceiling. I tried to move, but my whole body protested. "You're awake?" I turned my head. Liu Ruyan was sitting in a chair next to the bed, holding a cup of coffee that had gone completely cold. There were faint, dark circles under her eyes. It looked like she'd been watching over me for a long time. "Why are you here?" Chen Se called Nian, and Nian told me. Her tone was flat, but I noticed how tightly her fingers were gripping the paper cup. Her knuckles were white. "Feeling any better?" "Okay. Just hurts." My voice was weak. I don't know why, but I just added, "My head hurts. My leg hurts too. Everything hurts." I regretted it the second I said it. That sounded way too much like whining. Liu Ruyan looked taken aback for a second. Then she reached out and gently stroked my head. The motion was so gentle, as if she was afraid of breaking something fragile. "It's okay. I already called your mom. She'll be here soon." "Thanks." She pulled her hand back. A subtle expression appeared on her face. It wasn't her usual cold, impatient look. It was the look a hunter gives their prey. "You don't have to thank me." She paused. "Hubby." My body completely stiffened. The air froze for about 3 seconds. "What did you say?" "I said you don't have to thank me, hubby." Her tone was as calm as if she were saying, "The weather was nice today." But her ears were completely red. I desperately pulled the blanket over my head. "I am dead, she knows." Liu Ruyan ripped the blanket off my face, looking down at me imperiously. "When were you planning to tell me? How did you know?" "A university's hash. One handsome." She raised an eyebrow. "My hubby and the guy playing games in my house are using the exact same ID. You think I couldn't figure it out?" I was speechless. "That stupid game. ID. How long have you known?" Liu Ruyan counted on her fingers. "Since the day Yannian showed me your match history. So about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. I'd been pretending to be a stranger in front of her for 2 weeks, and she knew the entire time. Then, on the Ferris wheel, I knew exactly who you were." She looked at me, her eyes shining. "I said I'd find you. You said, whatever. You also said that if I found you, I could kiss you and hug you." I wanted to cover her mouth, but I didn't have the strength. I barely lifted my hand before she grabbed it. "You went back on your word. Plus, I was the one who brought you to the hospital this time. Shouldn't you thank me?" I desperately shook my head, using my other hand to clamp my own mouth shut. Liu Ruyan looked at me and flashed a smile I had never seen before. "It's okay, I'll help myself." She pried my hand away. I squeezed my eyes shut. I leave my fate to heaven, looking in the mirror at my lips swollen like sausages. I almost cried. Liu Ruyan smugly wiped her mouth. "Hubby, done with the kisses. We'll do hugs when you're better." I looked at her, completely powerless. "Liu Ruyan, have you been this overbearing since you were a kid?" She tilted her head and thought for a second. "Towards you, yes." Then she said something that completely broke my brain. "After graduation, we're getting married." By the time my mom arrived at the hospital in a whirlwind, Liu Ruyan had already handled all the paperwork for me. The scene of these two women meeting was incredibly surreal. The second my mom walked in, she started inspecting Liu Ruyan, checking her out from head to toe. Then she forced a smile. "You must be Ruyan. She Hao has mentioned you to me." "Since when have I ever mentioned her?" Liu Ruyan was uncharacteristically nervous. "Hello, Auntie." My mom grabbed her hands, her eyes actually tearing up. "Such a good girl. Thank you so much for taking care of Shi Hao. This kid is just like his dad. Terrible with words, but soft-hearted. He doesn't know how to express himself." Liu Ruyan glanced at me, and for once, she didn't roast me. "No, Shi Hao is great." I almost choked on those words. Liu Ruyan thinks I'm great. After I was discharged, my mom insisted on taking Liu Ruyan out to eat. At the dinner table, my mom's performance was Oscar-worthy. "Oh, Auntie's family isn't very well off. I'm sorry you have to deal with this. Once Auntie is out of the hospital, I'll treat you to a proper meal." What Liu Ruyan didn't know was that this not very well off Auntie sitting in front of her owned 3 companies, drove a Porsche, and lived in a villa no smaller than her family's. When it comes to playing poor, my mom was way better at it than I was. After dinner, I found a chance to pull my mom aside. Mom, did you score that doctor yet? My mom glared at me, almost stop rushing me. Then when are you coming home? We'll talk about it once I lock him down. Then, can I at least come home sometimes? No, if you come back, how am I supposed to invite him over? My mom looked at Liu Ruyan's back, and her tone suddenly softened. That girl is good. She really cares about you. You need to treat her right. You hear me? Don't be like your dad, keeping everything bottled up, waiting until the person is gone before speaking up. When my mom said that, she was staring off into the distance. It was as if she was looking through something, seeing a scene from a long time ago. I nodded. I know. Only when everything finally settled down could I finally explain the incident I hadn't mentioned earlier. It happened a few days before. I was hospitalized for the basketball injury. It was a weekend. Chen sent me a message. Quick, come to the old academic building, 3rd floor. I found something crazy awesome. Come look right now. He included a location pin. I went without a second thought. The moment I pushed the door open, my blood completely ran cold. It wasn't a private room. In an abandoned lecture hall in the old academic building, sat Wang Teng and 4 thugs with full-sleeve tattoos. Chen Zi was pinned in the corner, blood on his mouth. His phone was tossed on the desk. They sent that message using Chen Zi's phone. Wang Teng walked over to me and pointed at his own face, where the slap mark had mostly faded. Shi Hao, do you know that because of that slap of yours, my dad beat the crap out of me? It was the first time I've ever been hit in my entire life. His gaze was twisted to the extreme. Because your mom wouldn't sign my dad's contract. Do you know how much face my dad lost? So that was it. Earlier, Wang Teng's dad came to the hospital to get my mom to sign a contract. I told her about him bullying me at school. My mom's face instantly dropped. She slammed the contract on the table. We'll discuss this another time. When Wang Teng's dad went back, he slapped Wang Teng across the face. The very next day, he came crawling back to apologize. The contract was eventually signed, but Wang Teng held a grudge. And now, he brought goons from off campus. Grab him. A blonde guy blocked the exit at the door and locked my arms from behind. I struggled desperately, but he was too strong. Another thug rushed forward and viciously kicked me in the ribs twice. It hurt so much my vision went black for a second. Wang Teng pulled out his phone, aiming the camera at my face. You got money, right? You're a rich kid, right? Then why don't you use your money to fix this? I brought my leg up and kicked him right in the crotch, taking advantage of him doubling over in pain. I threw off the blonde guy and made a break for the door. Just as my hand touched the doorknob, there was a sickening thud against the back of my head. Warm liquid flowed down the side of my face. My vision darkened. Before I collapsed, I thought I heard a voice coming from far away. Shi Hao. What happened next was what Liu Ruyan and others told me. That day, after I finished teaching Neonian programming at the Liu house, I mentioned I was going to the old academic building to find a friend. Neonian casually mentioned it in passing. Shi Hao said he's going to the old academic building. When Liu Ruyan heard this, she was sitting on the couch, looking at her phone. She glanced at our chat log online. Her hubby hadn't replied for half an hour. She said she didn't know why, but she felt a sudden intense unease. She called her older cousin, Jiang Tao. Cousin, come with me to the old academic building. For what? To beat someone up. Probably a scumbag. Jiang Tao is the captain of the school basketball team. 19 meters tall. The kind of guy who could crush a basketball with one hand. When they arrived, they pushed open the door to see me already collapsed on the floor, my head bleeding, and a thug raising an iron pipe, ready to smash it down again. Jiang Tao said before he even had time to react. Liu Ruyan just charged forward. She threw her entire body over mine. The iron pipe landed squarely on her right forearm. It fractured. What happened after that? Jiang Tao handled entirely on his own. It took him less than 2 minutes to floor all 4 thugs. When the police arrived, Wang Teng and the others were taken away on the spot. Liu Ruyan never told me any of these details herself. She only said, "I'm the one who saved you," and smugly patted her chest. but she never ever mentioned why her arm was fractured. It was later, on the basketball court, that I finally got the truth from Jiang Tao. After that incident, Wang Teng was expelled from the school and put in a detention center. Once my mom found out about this, she canceled all collaborations with Wang Teng's father. President Wang was depending on that project to turn his business around. His capital chain snapped completely. Later, I heard he jumped off a building, and Wang Teng had a mental breakdown. He deserved it. I wouldn't shed a single tear for him. But his dad's ending really was tragic. Raised a son like that, and ended up getting killed by him in the end. Chen Zhe's injuries weren't bad, just a busted lip. Afterwards, he apologized to me for a whole week straight. It's all my fault. It grabbed my phone. All right. It wasn't your fault. How? Do you think Liu Ruyan likes you? Stop talking nonsense. She got her arm fractured saving you. How is that nonsense? I didn't answer. But looking at the message Liu Ruyan had sent on my phone, I fell silent for a long time. Hubby, if I find you using my own abilities, can we kiss and hug? She had sent this a long time ago. Back then my reply was, sure, whatever you want, as long as you can. She really did find me. She really did kiss me. Really did hug me. Even took a pipe for me. Liu Ruyan, what are you doing? What else are you going to make me feel for you? The first day out of the hospital, I went to the Liu house. It wasn't a work day, but I just wanted to go. Nianian ran over the second she saw me. How? You finally came. I don't know how to do my coding homework. Uncle Liu brought me a bowl of soup. Body recovered. Don't get into fights anymore. I wasn't the one fighting, I know. Uncle Liu patted my shoulder. You did the right thing. Liu Ruyan walked down from upstairs, paused when she saw me, and then sat down on the couch like nothing happened. But I noticed she was wearing a new dress and had light makeup on. Wearing makeup at home. Nianian pulled me into her room, shut the door, and looked full of gossip. How? Let me tell you. My sister has been asking when you're coming every single day. Really? Really? She even checks the mirror constantly. Before this, she never wore makeup at home. Nianian lowered her voice. How? Are you already my brother-in-law? No. Stop making things up. Ha. You're blushing. After teaching Nianian her coding, I was getting ready to leave. Liu Ruyan was standing by the door, holding her car keys. I'll drive you. Uncle Liu didn't ask her to. She offered herself. The Ferrari's engine growled low in the night. It was very quiet inside the car. Only the faint scent of her perfume lingered in the air. How? She stared at the road ahead, and it took her a long time to say her next sentence. When did you know it was me? Day 1. Guessed it the first day I came to your house to fix the laptop. Her hands tightened on the steering wheel. Then why didn't you say anything? I was afraid you'd kill me. She burst out laughing. That was the first time I'd ever seen her laugh like that. Not a cold laugh, not a mocking laugh. She was genuinely amused. Well, you're pretty self-aware at least. The car pulled over to the side of the road. Liu Ruyan turned to look at me. The streetlights shone through the window, casting a warm golden glow on her face. How? I have a question. Do you like the online me? Or the real me? I thought about it. The online you is really cute when she acts sweet. Her ears flushed red again. But the real you fractured your arm to save me. Stayed up all night watching over me in the hospital. Every time you acted fierce with me, you never actually put me in a tough spot. During the programming competition, your answer wasn't technically wrong. Your wording just wasn't precise enough. But you didn't argue. Because you didn't want the team to look bad in front of the judges. I only understood that after watching the recording of that day later. Liu Ruyan froze. You watched the recording? Yeah. When? Not long after it happened. I felt like your reaction was off. So I went and looked into it and realized I was in the wrong. Then why didn't you explain it to me? You wouldn't have believed me. Plus, the rumors had already spread by then. Silence filled the car for a long time. You're an idiot. Yeah. If you had explained earlier, we would have made up a long time ago. Yeah. You just know how to say yeah, don't you? Then what should I say? Say you like me. I looked at her, and she looked at me. There was a streetlight outside the window, making our two shadows overlap. Liu Ruyan? Yeah, I like you. The online you, the real you. Everything about you. Her eyes lit up. Then she grabbed my collar. Took you long enough. I've just been waiting for those words. No more hiding from me from now on. Hear me. I hear you. She let go and restarted the car. Let's go back. Still got classes tomorrow. But the smile on her lips didn't fade the whole way home. I stood at the end of the red carpet, holding the bouquet. This was many years later. Liu Ruyan, in her wedding dress, walked over from the other end. Like a cloud drifting out of a painting, the officiant asked for her vows. She looked at me, her eyes slightly red. How, if my life was a poem, you would definitely be the flyleaf of my poem. The rest of my life is the content of the poem. When reading, people bring the words of the flyleaf to read the content of the poem. I will carry the faith of loving you on the flyleaf to live out the rest of my life well. I heard someone crying behind me. It was my mom. Sitting next to her was that doctor she had successfully chased down, who was now clumsily handing her tissues. Nianyan was in the front row, sobbing uncontrollably. I knew it. I told you, Hao would be my brother-in-law. Uncle Liu was acting very calm, but his eyes were red too. I looked at Liu Ruyan in front of me. I do. Bonus 1. The newlyweds. The next morning I woke up freezing. A late autumn morning. The temperature difference between the first and second half of the night is ridiculously huge. We were too busy last night, and forgot to close the window before sleeping. Liu Ruyan had wrapped herself up in the blanket like a cocoon. She even had it inside out. The tag was hanging on the outside. She hadn't had time to take off her makeup yesterday, and it was completely smudged now. But this little one is pretty enough. That a little flaw like that doesn't matter at all. She was pouting, her brows furrowed, like she was fighting monsters in her sleep. I got up, closed the window, and prepared to get out of bed to make breakfast. I took another couple of looks at her, confirmed she wasn't awake, and leaned in to give her a kiss. Just as I was about to touch her, her eyes suddenly flew open. The next second, the blanket was thrown over my head, and a sharp pain shot through my stomach from a kick. I stumbled and fell to the floor. By the time I ripped the blanket off, Liu Ruyan had put her clothes on at the speed of light. Her face was beet red, and she glared at me. How, you creep? I don't even have my clothes on properly. And you want to do it again? Come on, we're married now. I don't care. I'm not used to it yet. I picked up the blanket from the floor and tossed it aside. Okay. Don't know who was keeping me from sleeping yesterday either. Liu Ruyan blushed all the way down her neck. Stop talking nonsense. You were the one not letting me sleep. You said only one time. Was your math taught by a PE teacher? Just then, there was a knock on the bedroom door. My mom's voice came through the door, carrying a teasing laugh. Hao Ruyan, are you two awake? Breakfast is ready. Come out soon. We both instantly went completely silent. Liu Ruyan whispered to me using just her breath. Did she hear? With your volume just now. This is all your fault. She punched me in the chest. I scooped her up in my arms. She buried her face in my neck and mumbled. Embarrassed myself so many times this morning. It's all your fault. I smiled, didn't say anything, and carried her towards the door. Bonus 2. The truth of the rescue. A long time later. On an afternoon playing basketball, playing one-on-one against the team captain, Zhang Tao, he dribbled the ball casually. Your injuries are much better. You're asking me again. Yeah. That time at the old academic building. How did you know? While I was distracted, he instantly shot a three-pointer. Swish, nothing but net. Liu Ruyan cheered even harder from the sidelines. Go, Hao. I snapped back to reality. You don't fight fair. He chuckled. What's wrong with giving my savior a free three-pointer? Oh, you're the one who saved me that day. He nodded and said, while dribbling, that day, Ruyan called me and told me to go with her to the old academic building to beat someone up. I asked her who it was, and she just said it was a scumbag. Turns out the scumbag was my dad. And then, after going inside, I saw you collapsed on the floor, with blood all over your head. A blonde guy was raising an iron pipe, aiming right for your head. Before I even had a chance to move, Ruyan just charged forward. She threw her entire body on top of you, and the iron pipe slammed onto her arm. He stopped dribbling and looked at me. Did you know? She didn't even make a single sound then. She just lay there on top of you, holding on to you for dear life, and wouldn't let anyone touch you. Seeing my sister get hit, I completely lost it. Floored all of those guys in 2 minutes. When the cops arrived, Ruyan was still holding you, refusing to let go. I stood there on the basketball court. Didn't even care about the ball anymore. Why didn't she tell me? Jiang Tao patted my shoulder. She said, if you knew she took the hit for you, you'd feel guilty. She didn't want you to feel guilty. She just wanted you to know you were safe. My vision blurred. On the sidelines, Liu Ruyan was still shouting go. Her voice in the sunlight was as clear as a song. I tossed the ball to Jiang Tao and ran towards her. Bonus 3, Track Field Confession. This happened on a completely ordinary afternoon. I was playing one-on-one with Jiang Tao on the court. Liu Ruyan was sitting on the sidelines cheering me on. A guy, acting suspiciously, sneaked up next to Liu Ruyan. Upperclassman, I've liked you for a long time. This is a gift for you. He was holding a bouquet of flowers and a small box. Liu Ruyan frowned. I threw the ball to Jiang Tao and rushed over in 2 strides. I wedged myself right between the two of them and pushed the guy's outstretched hand right back. Sorry about that. I'll buy her gifts for her. The guy looked totally lost. Who are you? Her boyfriend. You're confessing to her and she's not even agreeing to it, calling yourself her boyfriend so easily. You've got some nerve, don't you? Did she acknowledge you? I turned my head. Before Liu Ruyan could even react, I wrapped an arm around her waist, and under her panicked gaze, dipped my head and kissed her. The track field erupted. Holy crap. The Ice Queen School beauty is taken. Isn't that the guy from the programming competition? Even though we were never together. I feel heartbroken right now. My youth is over. When we pulled apart, Liu Ruyan's face was completely flush red. Her look went from panic to faux anger, and finally, turned into an unhideable smile. I turned back to the guy who was still frozen in place and pulled a few bills out of my pocket. Flowers? I'll take them and reimburse you. Believe it now? Then I took Liu Ruyan's hand, and under the watchful eyes of the entire track field shouted loudly, Liu Ruyan, be my girlfriend. She lowered her head, pressing her lips tightly together for a long, long time. Only when everyone had quieted down did she finally squeeze out 2 words through her teeth. Okay. The setting sun cast our 2 shadows very, very long. Bonus 4. The anniversary. Half a month later. It was the anniversary of my dad's death. Every year around this time, my mom would become unusually busy. Joss paper ingots, ghost money, gold mountains, silver mountains. She'd buy it all. Your dad didn't make much money, and he never wanted to spend mine. Now I'll buy more for him. So he has no choice but to accept it. As she was talking, her tears would fall onto the ghost money, soaking several pieces. But this year, she was exceptionally quiet. Those paper offerings didn't make an appearance. She wasn't eating or sleeping well, just staring blankly at the calendar. I knew she was afraid. Afraid that doctor would be upset. Afraid there shouldn't be a place for an old flame in her new life anymore. That day, at 5 a.m., I drove Liu Ruyan's Ferrari, driving through a city that hadn't yet woken up. Liu Ruyan was sitting in the passenger seat, wearing a long black dress. She had agreed to come with me the night before. The morning mist hadn't lifted yet, and the chill seeped in through the gaps in the car windows. I took off my suit jacket and draped it over her shoulders. Cold? You're barely wearing anything. She snuggled into my arms. It's not cold if I'm close to you. In front of the headstone halfway up the mountain, last year's chrysanthemums had already withered to dust. I crouched down and placed the newly bought flowers nicely. Dad, I got married. Her name is Liu Ruyan. She's very pretty. Her temper isn't great, but she's very good to me. Rest easy. Liu Ruyan stood behind me. Without saying a word, she just gently held my hand. From the mountain road below, the engine roar of a Porsche approached. My mom, wearing a black trench coat, walked up, holding a large bouquet of white roses. Her eyes were red. You little brat, running off so fast without calling me. The Ferrari can't fit you. She glared at me. Can't count on you. Still had to rely on the doctor to drive me. I glanced down the mountain. Inside the Porsche, that doctor was waving at me. My mom placed the flowers in front of the headstone, crouched down, and used her fingers to wipe away the dust from the stone bit by bit. She didn't say a single word, but I knew she was saying so much. Those who have passed on in the hearts of the living. attain an eternal life that is not easily spoken of.